Hi, I'm Mike Novagratz. I'm an investor, a speculator, a crypto-maniac, and you're watching Behind the Brand with Brian Elliott.
I mean, we were just sitting back, chopping
Mike,
it up,
welcome to the show.
Thanks a
reminiscing
lot.
about the good old
I
days.
usually ask my guests, how did you get this job? Like, how did you get to this point? Bring me back in the chronology. Tell me your origin story.
So I'm like when I think about my life right now, it's the circus guy with 7 sticks and plates spinning on them. And, I have a shrink who calls himself an expander. He said, shrink is no good. I want you to expand. So he's an expander. And he says, don't bitch about it because you kind of chose this life. And he's right. I really enjoy doing lots of different things. I have a cryptocurrency business called Galaxy Digital. This is as exciting as a time for Bitcoin, blockchain, crypto as we've seen ever. And so that's taken a ton of my effort.
Okay, so pause right there. Let me ask about that. So I know nothing about this, only enough to be dangerous. So like, why is everyone hating on this kind of, digital currency? Why does Warren Buffett hate it? Like one of the most prolific investors. Why is he just a traditionalist? Like, give me the straight talk.
So to start with, most traditional investors only were thinking about Bitcoin to start with. And Bitcoin's really an unbelievable experiment, right? So if you go back to where gold came from, right? People thought it came from the gods, from the ancient Egyptians, the Aztecs, the Mayas. It was this blessed metal that came from the gods. And it became special. It's only valuable because we say it's valuable.
Right.
It's the social construct that makes it valuable. You could take all the gold, this is a crazy statistic, that's ever been mined in the history of the world and melt it down, and it's a cube 63 feet across. So think about it. You could put that in the middle of LA or New York City, and it would be a $9 trillion sculpture.
Yeah.
So that makes no fucking sense, other than we say it's valuable.
Well, I heard this story too, and I don't know if you heard the same thing about all the diamonds, the De Beers company. There's plenty of diamonds. Apparently, they're not as scarce as we all think. Like, they're just keeping them in these limited quantities because scarcity creates value.
Right. And so, but gold is relatively scarce. So Bitcoin is really scarce. There are only 21 million Bitcoin that'll ever be mined. The question was, well, how did we get it to be seen as a store of value? How did that social construct develop? And it started, it has this magic origin story, right? Almost like gold. It's a miracle. This man or woman or group of people named Satoshi Nakamoto created this line of code in a white paper and floated in the river, and people started saying, wow, that makes sense.
So is that accurate though? Is that just lore, or is that?
No, that's real. That's exactly what happened. No one knows who Satoshi is.
Right. It's like, Al Gore invented the internet. Is that true? Like, I don't know.
But if we knew who Satoshi was, I don't think Bitcoin would be Bitcoin. I honestly don't. Same technology, but it's a fascinating technology. So money by definition is political, right? A government decides how much money they're going to print. Oh, I want to build a new bridge. Let me give you some more money. And if they are irresponsible with that leadership, the money gets worth less and less and less. And you've seen examples of it recently in Venezuela, where you could use the money for toilet paper, and you'd be saving yourself some money, or Argentina at times, or Weimar Germany. So those are the extreme examples. But you can look at an example like even in Britain, the pound sterling, right? 1 pound used to buy you a pound of silver, of sterling,
right?
Pound. Now it gets this much, and so political systems debase their currency over time. And Bitcoin is outside of politics. It's its own sovereignty. There'll never be more than 21 million. And so now that the world starts thinking that it's valuable, it is valuable. It's like a piece of art. And in some ways, for the young people, it's like social money. We have social networking, and this is social money. It's internet money. But for older people, for macro investors, for all investors, it's becoming a hedge against the debasement of currency, a hedge against governments losing responsibility. And now you've got Abby Johnson, who runs Fidelity, and Mickey Melker, who's maybe the best fintech investor in the world, and Bill Miller, who is this legendary, investor from Baltimore or from Florida, but he ran Legg Mason, and Pete Brigger, and Stan Druckenmiller, who's the god of all macro trading. Like, he is the GOAT, and he's bought it. And so these guys are Warren Buffett level. Druckenmiller and Warren Buffett are roughly the same level. And all of a sudden they're saying, I believe it. And so it's kind of crossed the record. Why it's gone up from, 8,000 to 18,000 this year is because people say, now it's a store of value. So it's become gold, and it's only 3% of gold.
Is there a governing body around cryptocurrency?
Oh, that's the cool thing. It's a decentralized system. And so the spirit of cryptocurrency, the spirit of the blockchain revolution was F you to the man. We don't trust centralized authority. That's what the spirit was. We are going to, and blockchains allow a permanence, right? If I tell you, I'm going to pay you $20 in 3 years, and it goes on a blockchain, it's programmed in, it goes in 3 years, and I can't erase it. It's up there permanently. So it brings transparency and some egalitarianness to the system. And
there's an independence. You get the feeling like, the banks are in cahoots with whomever, corporate America or the government, or
big picture, it's a democratization of finance, right? So if you and I decide, shit, let's go out and drink, and we don't want to let our wives see what we put on the credit card, so let's get some cash out of the ATM, and you're taking $100 out, they're going to charge you $350 in fees. If I take $30 out, they're going to charge me $350. Well, when you're taking $30 out and you get charged $350, that's like a 12% surcharge. That's free. I can give you a naked picture, on one of 94 apps for free. That's a lot of pixels. But I can't send you money. Like, it makes no sense. And so this revolution in payments, in all of finance, is going to happen over the next 10 years. And you're going to see what banks make and what the tax banks take from individuals go from here to here. Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
So you're at the ground floor then of this thing.
I am a revolutionary in that respect.
Mm-hmm. And this may be something you pass on to your future posterity. Then it sounds like. I mean, because we're just getting started with the whole crypto, adoption level, right? Like we just started.
I think in 10 years, you'll start noticing things have changed a lot. And like change happens slowly. And then you look back and like, you think about it, the internet bubble was 1999, and you didn't really have Facebook and the iPhone until 2005, 6, 7. You didn't have movies that you could watch. That was 6, 7 years after the internet bubble. And now the internet dominates everything we do.
Yeah. So give a quick pro tip then to someone who's maybe knows nothing like me, but has interest. How do we get into the game? Like, what's the first step?
I think the first step is actually buy yourself $100 worth of Bitcoin. You get a Coinbase wallet or one of the other companies that do wallets, and you just understand, and then you send $10 to your friend in Zimbabwe if you have a friend in Zimbabwe. You're like, well, that was freaking easy. And so it's kind of play with the architecture of the system a little bit. As an investment advice, I would put some portion of your net worth into Bitcoin and not look at it for 10 years. It's going to be worth a lot more money.
What's the mission of your cryptocurrency company? What are you trying to accomplish?
So I was kind of the oldest guy in crypto, honestly, or one of the oldest guys. And I came from a traditional Wall Street background. I worked at Goldman Sachs. I worked at this company called Fortress. And so when I started, I did it for a few reasons. I wanted to understand what the young people were doing, and it's fun to work with young people. And I thought there was a place to be the bridge between traditional Wall Street, institutional world, and this crypto world. And so we put ourselves in between. And so we used to call ourselves the Goldman Sachs of crypto, but it's can we be this bridge from the institutional world, who's now finally showing up? And so our business has got really exciting in the last 6 months. It took a long time for institutions to kind of buy in, right? Everyone was so skeptical. JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, Warren Buffett, they're all changing their mind. And so you'll see every single bank in the world engaged in blockchain and crypto within the next 5 years.
I mean, we were just sitting back, you know, chopping it up, reminiscing about the good old days and all that. You know, tracking my roots, where I came from and where I'm going. But like I say, man, always said it. It's not about the destination. No. It's all about the journey. Ain't nothing changed but the weather. The dangling carrot that hang from the rear view. Your dreams in the past ain't nowhere near you.